The city of Norwich is bracing itself for a Russian invasion.
I know that what I'm building appeals to me so much that it will appeal to people who are like me, so I know they will come.
This is the story of one Russian woman's dream to create the ultimate English hotel.
It's my unborn child, and I think I've been carrying it for the last 4.5 years.
She has never done anything like this before, but she knows what she likes.
Don't tell me what I can put or what I cannot put. I can put whatever I want. It's my vision, it's my restaurant, it's my hotel.
But has she taken on more than she bargained for?
I have to present to the world that we can do it. Failure is not an option.
Lana and Carlton Van Selman have embarked upon a life-changing project. They have thrown away comfortable jobs and invested more than £500,000 of their own money into an abandoned telephone exchange in Norwich. They intend to transform this place into the east of England's finest hotel.
I'm doing the hotel for me. Therefore, I am the most qualified person to do it.
I don't always agree with what Lana wants to say, but I'll defend to my dying breath her right to have an opinion.
To help them create an international sensation, they have found an Egyptian designer who is impatient to begin work on his first English hotel.
Anybody want his project to be as soon as possible finished, he comes to me. I can bring 300, 400 labor, not with insurance, not, you understand me?
In keeping with the international flavour, Lana and Carlton have found a dynamic Californian to run their hotel.
I've never done a hotel before. I'm going to learn very quickly, but I can do it. I have to do it. It's my job.
Kind of emotionally, we really have bonded with him. It's just something within us and something within him.
Lana is the managing director because Lana wants to be the managing director.
I am Russian. That's by my birth. It has moved from being perhaps a bit of a disadvantage to being a great advantage because people perceive me as being very exotic.
Lana will need all the backing of her rich Russian family.
It's a game.
But it's a high-risk one, with over £6 million staked on a spin of Lana's Russian roulette wheel.
So what do you think?
Oh, what do you think? Fantastic.
They don't build like that anymore, do they?
Lana and Carlton first stepped inside the abandoned telephone exchange 5 years ago and knew at once they wanted it for their hotel.
Ooh la la.
There's only a handful of buildings that look anything remotely like it in Norwich.
So this is pretty.
It's more than pretty.
It's amazing, isn't it? We sat down with a map and we drew a circle and we said it has to be within that circle. And it was within the Norwich old city wall, so it's the actual centre.
We wanted it to be defined as a city centre hotel.
This epic building, originally known as Telephone House, dates back to 1907. Just metres away from the busy market square of Norwich, it's a grand setting by anyone's standards. Lana and Carlton would settle for nothing less.
Emotionally, the building has become almost like our extension. And we really, really love it. I mean, it's so peculiar that you can love something which is an inanimate object, but it isn't. To us, it's a living, breathing thing.
Alive it may be, but only just. This ailing structure is in need of some prolonged intensive care. It will take all of Lana and Carlton's energy to transform St Giles House from its derelict building hell to a luxury hotel heaven. This is their journey, from hell to hotel. A roller coaster ride of property, jeopardy and tenacity in which deadlines will come and go.
Can't see why we couldn't do it in 2 weeks, but you told me 2 weeks ago that you can't see why it couldn't be done in 2 weeks, and it's still not done. So now they're going to have to take both of the fucking chimney breasts off, redo the whole thing. That's going to take another 4 days.
Money will be raised with great difficulty.
Oh, wait, not on that one, on this one.
And spent with great gusto.
We are up to the hilt on absolutely everything. We have credit cards coming out of our ears.
And why the fuck are we sitting on the £4,000 of stock from cellar door?
The staff will have to knuckle down, muck in, take their share of the strain.
I know better than to argue with you because I have to let you win. But I'm shitting myself at the moment. The magnitude, the weight of what the fuck we're doing, you know, is just mind-blowing.
And Lana and Carlton's own relationship will be stretched to the limit.
I'm aware of that, and I'll gladly speak to them.
Why don't we?
I mean, you're stating the obvious, Poppy.
I know, Carlton, but
Can they guide, lead and cajole this untried and disparate group to pull off a minor miracle and open their dream hotel?
oh fuck.
One thing is certain. If anything can go wrong, it most probably will.
It's impossible to do it.
Dog, don't pull the plug, please.
Go.
I guarantee you it'll be fabulous.
I just want to put a match to it and burn the whole fucking thing down.
Coming up on Hell to Hotel.
Can we please have a schedule of when we're going to be opening for business?
In this situation,
I
you will
know.
finish in 2 years.
I know.
2 years, I swear.
Do we stick a hose in the car and hold our hands and say, thanks for having a lovely life?
In a quiet Norwich side street, a new hotel is slowly emerging from the shell of a derelict telephone exchange. The £6 million project is the brainchild of Lana and Carlton Van Selman, whose dream is to build the most luxurious and stylish hotel in the east of England, unlike anything Norwich has ever had before.
I think Norwich deserves to have something special, to have something quite outstanding. We love Norwich. We absolutely adore Norwich. And it's so unfair that people don't know how beautiful it is and what lovely bunch of people we have here. And Norwich really deserves something fairly spectacular.
But what do a successful ex-graphic designer and a former head of European marketing for Del Monte know about the hotel trade?
Our experience of the hotel business is I've stayed in a few. That's it.
So we had no experience apart from experience from the consumer point of view, so staying in the hotels good and bad.
More cautious property developers have given the building a wide berth, leaving it derelict for the last 9 years. Have Lana and Carlton grasped a brave opportunity, or is it just a money pit?
This is certainly the biggest thing that we have ever done or attempted to do. One of our friends, when he came over to see it, and we had a look around and we went out and he just said, I feel physically ill. So why? You hate it? And he said, it's so big. I can't believe for your first project you've decided to do something like that. What was wrong with just a 5-bedroom hotel?
5 bedrooms? Surely not. Lana's bold ambition demands a much bigger canvas. A multinational team of Polish, Latvian and Ukrainian builders are quickly put to work to bring her plans to life. The proposed completion date is January 2005, But the schedule begins to slip on day one.
And it's impossible with buildings of this time really to say, right, it's going to be 2 months or 3 months. Every day, there is a new set of problems.
It's a huge task and actually involves integrating 3 very different buildings into one.
There is not anybody on earth who knows this building more than I do. First building is this one. Telephone House was built in 1907 and it's solid concrete and metal construction. And you've got this one here, which is just disappearing off the top of the screen, which is the Georgian building. They're very different buildings. The Georgian building is a 200-year-old red brick 3-storey townhouse. And then you had this portion, which is what we call the Link building. The modern monstrosity was made in 1968.
It will surely take all that space just to contain Lana's energy and enthusiasm. There'll be 24 bedrooms, each designed to reflect Lana's taste, including the Madame Pompadour and Marie Antoinette suites. There'll be a glittering 90-seat Art Deco-inspired restaurant with Egyptian marble floors and crystal chandeliers, a private members club and a spa with 5 treatment rooms. She simply can't wait to get the builders out and the decorators in.
This whole project is a very, very organic animal. It kind of evolves. I mean, there is a definitive plan, but it kind of evolves as we go along. So it will work, I promise you. Or if it doesn't, just repaint the wall.
Back in their modest home in the Norfolk countryside, Lana reveals the source of her ideas.
From the very first moment we walked into the building, I knew exactly how I wanted to do it. And I could see through the shambles that were there. I'm completely addicted to looking through other hotel books. If I see a good hotel book, I have to buy it, and I have stacks of them. This is not all of the books. This is probably one of my favourite ones. When my hotel's open, I wanted to be in one of these incredibly lavish coffee books. And this is, to me, this is eye candy. But, stuff like that. Look at these mirrors. Sometimes little things just draw your eye.
Lana's obsession with fitting out the hotel as only she can has kept the resourceful Carlton on his toes.
Lana will look at a space and go, oh, this is lovely, we can do this, and I'd like a waterfall and 3 windows in the ceiling. And I'll say, no, you can't do it, there's not the space, it's not practical, it can't be done.
I go to bed and I can't sleep because I've got these ideas, going through and through and through my head, and then I get up and I start going through, the bits of the fabric. When I saw this, just this piece of wallpaper, this, to me, just says Madame Pompadour suite. Hello. Come on, Boris. Whoever walks into that room or into the space, I want to create a certain mood. I want them to feel in a certain way. It's about doing what you feel the right thing to do. And I'm doing the hotel for me. Therefore, I'm the most qualified person to do it.
In search of more inspiration, Lana and Carlton escaped the relaxing surroundings of their antique collecting friends in Provence.
We're very, very lucky to know Philip and Linda. There is a definite meeting of minds here.
Their bijou period hotel was the basis for Lana's interior design philosophy for St Giles House.
Its spirit, it just has this vibe. It has this incredible energy.
Well, before we moved to France, we were antique dealers for about 15 years, and our speciality was this particular period, the Art Deco period of the 1920s, 30s.
An Aladdin's cave of collectible bits.
I want
Little things.
everything. Oh, Carlton, look at that. Look at that. She's beautiful.
It is in principle for sale for £300, but somebody else has seen it, and
Yes, so we must sell
should
it.
give her the option of buying it.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
All right. 400?
How hot are your principles?
Yeah.
Deco mirror, large gold queen.
Yeah.
New base glass top.
Working is a pleasure. How confusing is that? It's no confusion whatsoever. Surely you choose the line of work that gives you pleasure. Ergo facto. Or is it ipso facto? Or is it de facto? It's some sort of facto, isn't it?
We don't have rooms that big,
Well,
Lana.
or
You'll
it
have a
goes-
room where it's so
okay.
cramped with
Or it
furniture.
goes into
Worried
the
about where
club.
you're going to put them already. You've got too
What
many
about
sofas.
What about the
If you put
bar
all the sofas
downstairs?
we've got in
we
the bar,
we
you wouldn't get
only
any people in.
have 2 sofas, Carlton.
No, you haven't.
Yes, we do.
No, you haven't.
Well, I'll buy it for the home.
And how many settees? We've got 3 settees at home.
Well, I'm having it.
Lana has spoken. It's a stunning suit.
Lana and Carlton return to Norwich, many thousands of pounds poorer, but with an authentic Art Deco collection for their hotel. However, St Giles House is far from ready for decoration, and when the valuable shipment finally arrives, it has nowhere to go, and for the moment must remain locked away in one of their many spare rooms. With expenditure rising and little sign of an end to the building work, this multi-million-pound project will need the faith of some very brave investors.
We started off with a number of partners, and bit by bit, as time has gone by one, they've fallen by the wayside.
Hey, it's like Agatha Christie, you know,
Yeah,
the
10 Little Indians.
10 Little Indians.
From 10 little Indians to just 2 big Russians. Enter Dmitri, or Little Dima for short, Lana's Moscow-based cousin who has made his fortune from double glazing.
And if you don't mind me asking, how much have you invested?
More than a million.
Their second shareholder is another of Lana's cousins, also called Dmitri. That's Big Dima to his friends.
Dima is thinking that there possibly could be hidden treasure behind those panels. So before you know, all the panels will be off and we'll be searching for gold.
And they'll need it. Between them, the 2 Muscovites will be investing several million more into the project. They may be cousins, they may be joint investors, but Lana has the tricky job of making sure they don't bump into each other on sight, as they are not on speaking terms.
Incidentally, if you ever put Dima and Dima into your Word programme and ask them to do a spell check, it comes up Dumb and Dumber.
Yes.
Which entertains the hell out of us.
It's too good to be true. I mean, it's just a really, really lovely place, lovely building.
A laid-back Californian, Brian Sullivan is risking everything to be part of this project. After 8 years in London, Brian has, on a whim, moved up to Norwich to become the general manager of St Giles House.
It's just going to be amazing, the smells and the sights and everything. Just this sheer elegance and excitement and just eye candy, you know. This is just like, you know, it's like sex, you know? It's like...
Lana and Carlton found Brian by chance, running a fashionable wine bar in London. His people skills impressed them, but he's a total novice at the hotel game.
I'm enthusiastic about it all. But, you know, I've never done a hotel before. I'm going to learn very quickly, but I can do it. I have to do it. It's my job. And I'd be lying to you as well if I've said that I've run, you know, I've managed a 92-seater, you know, dining room before. I've done elements of it, but, you know, it's a bloody tall order.
Describe your feelings about it.
Oh, I'm shitting a brick, mate. But it's good. It's a good feeling at the same time. I know it's a bit of an oxymoron there.
But will Brian ever have a hotel to run? It's now the summer of 2004, several months into the build, and the site is anything but buzzing.
As you can see, very little is happening. We have expected to have an absolute anthill of activity here, but all that's happened since last time we were here is that there's some rubbish been currently thrown out of the window.
Vince, the beleaguered site manager, is up against it. With only a skeleton crew of labourers to spread across a huge site, he can barely make an impact.
It's an old building, and as you can appreciate that most buildings there's unseen, work that until you open the ceiling you don't know what's behind it all. And as you do, you'll find different little hiccups that you have to just address. So it obviously extends the time scale you have on the job.
But Vince's easygoing manner does little to appease the angry Lana. She pulls him aside for some difficult questioning.
Unless we get this communication process sorted out, we will constantly be chasing our tails.
You have to be working on the whole project at the same time.
Cornered in the site office, Vince must hold his nerve before the fiery Lana.
I think it's not possible.
Can we please have a schedule of when we're going to be opening for business? Where is the schedule of works?
So I don't know what the state of play is on that.
Who manages this site? Who is the ultimate person who's responsible for this site?
That's a difficult question.
And the remote possibility that this is going to be finished by February, which is, let's put our hand up on our heart, it's not going to be finished, is it?
With few conclusions and no sign of a building schedule, the meeting is anything but reassuring for Lana and Carlton.
We can't create a schedule.
How can we create it? I can create, sure, I can sit down and create an artificial schedule.
In actual fact, in our business plan, we have a schedule. We have a schedule. And our schedule should have been that we're in now.
It's so difficult. It's so politically, it's so difficult. And I just feel totally frustrated.
Coming up on Helter Hotel, Lana and Carlton go fishing for inspiration amongst the glamour of Venice.
I mean, I can make love to this chair easily. Yes.
At home, a security crisis looms as the building receives its first unwanted guests.
I feel like doing a Tony Martin. I'll hang around one night and shoot people.
Things go from bad to worse at St Giles House when Egyptian designer Essam pays a visit and tells Lana exactly what he thinks of her project.
I have to believe that we have to finish it.
In this situation, you will finish in 2 years. 2 years, I swear.
On a multi-million-pound building site in the centre of Norwich, first-time hotel developers Lana and Carlton are thinking ahead.
From the very first moment we walked into the building, I knew exactly how I wanted to do it, and I could see through the shambles that were there. It's about doing what you feel the right thing to do, and I'm doing the hotel for me. Therefore, I'm the most qualified person to do it.
But Lana's bold ideas aren't cheap, and they're certainly not sourced from Norfolk. Lana and Carlton's solutions to building the perfect English hotel lie abroad. They love staying in the kind of glamour pads rarely found this side of the Channel.
These are stunning. Although this is a huge space, it feels very intimate, which is lovely. It's done very, very well.
They have stayed in places that have inspired them and learnt from their experiences.
Just look where we are. It's sun, it's beautiful, the sky is blue, it makes you horny all the time. Well, it makes me horny anyway.
Lana and Carlton have also used their time abroad to shop on an impressive scale.
This is spectacular. God, I really want it, but it's going to be disastrously expensive. We're having it.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Their latest research trip brings them to Venice.
Why do you think we're inspired by Venice? Look at it. Okay, you can't smell it.
Actually, you can.
But Venice has this amazing sensuality to it. I think, A, because it's on the water and it's sinking, and there is this slight feeling of decadence and hysteria, and I think that's why it's so inspirational.
We constantly say to each other that between the two of us we make one good entrepreneur. There are skills and attributes that Lana is very good at that I'm just useless at. And I'm pretty good at making teas and coffee for Lana, so that makes a fairly good team.
Lana, the rich Russian bombshell, and Carlton, the reserved English gent, are polar opposites, brought together by their shared taste of the finer things in life. After meeting on Valentine's Day 15 years ago, they married on a whim, but have stuck together through thick and thin. They are like two peas in a very comfortable pod.
How cool is
This, look at this. This is just...
These are very heavy
are
chairs.
incredible.
Readily comfortable.
These chairs are just work of art.
This is just the bees.
It's just it's incredible pleasure. It's just so... I mean, I can make love to this chair easily. Yes. It's so beautifully crafted. You know, the lines of it.
Lana has a wonderful personality. It always excites me. Lana always has something to say. I don't always agree with what Lana wants to say or what she believes in, but I'll defend to my dying breath her right to have an opinion.
If you look here, you've just got this beautiful, perfect symmetry because you've got that straight line. The only thing that I must go and do, that vase is not directly in the centre of the table. So if you just excuse me, I have to go and put it exactly in the centre of the table. I'm absolutely no good in having a diplomatic conversation. Whereas Carlton, if you cut him into half, like a Brighton rock, there'll be one word written in the middle, compromise. And he's just amazing. He's just so good at getting out of people what he needs to get out of them without perhaps beating them round the head as much as I do.
Aside from the sights, the smells and the inspiration, there is another reason for visiting Venice.
I couldn't have the chair. At least I've got some shoes. They're beautiful.
And for £500, so there should be.
If I may be as big-headed as to say I'm the general, and as a general I know my game plan. Carlton said this wonderful thing. I'm writing about Caesar, and there is a lot of parallels with you, you know. So I think you're the Caesar, but I am the Brutus. I said, well, thank you very much. When can I expect the knife in my bag then?
I might not be a terribly good leader of people, but I'm a very good problem solver. You know, often you can solve a problem by simply looking at something else. You can change something else somewhere else and make the problem go away without actually having to solve the problem at all.
But the runaway problems of St Giles House cannot be so easily avoided. It's now October, and building works are 4 months behind schedule. General Manager in waiting, Brian, is beginning to think he might have joined the project rather too soon.
Carlton and Lana, they've never opened up a hotel before. They've never owned a restaurant before or a bar. So yeah, I'm sure that keeps them awake at night. But I would say that if they had opened one of these before, I think that St Giles House would have probably possibly been open by now, you know?
You want a cup of coffee?
Brian originally applied to be food and beverage manager of St Giles House because this is where his experience lies. He was surprised to be offered the role of manager, especially as the hotel hasn't yet been built. It's a big risk, and he's throwing caution to the wind to move his wife Karen and their 2 young children to Norwich.
This is nice. Why not start a family late in life and then just throw it all up into the air and just move to a different city and take on a completely different job? And, you know, why not? That seems... like a real recipe for either disaster or success. You know, I think it'll be a success for him.
For the moment at least, Brian is a hotel manager without a hotel. However, St Giles House does appear to have had its first unwanted guests.
The room next door, someone's tried to break into it because the door is actually screwed up and sealed from the inside because we've got lots of furniture and stuff in there which is stored. People get into this building despite all the security measures we can take. I feel like doing a Tony Martin. I'll hang around one night and shoot people.
With security now becoming a major problem in the building, the costly but essential decision is made to move their valuable antique furniture to a more secure location. Away from the pressures of the building site, there's also time for a bit of male bonding between the troops.
I don't know if I could do the whole thing, but...
Lana's toy boy.
Didn't get that one, did it? We saw it and we just thought, isn't that fabulous? Careful.
Kick me in the head.
Well,
I'm much more comfortable around Carlton than I am Lana because she's very controlling. There's a lot on the line here, you know, so that nothing can fail. At least that's you know, that's what everybody's hoping, you know. I mean, there's always a possibility that can happen, you know. There's no denying that.
I have more confidence in Brian than Brian has in himself, but he needs to feel that there's someone standing close by, and that's me. Not that I have any experience either, just I'm more prepared to stand there and make a decision.
Back on site, the decision has been made, for better or worse, to put all the effort into finishing the 90-seat restaurant by February 2005. It will be called Dimitri's Bistro after Lana's Russian cousins who are stumping up the cash. But Lana and Carlton know that turning this 1960s extension at the rear of the building into a shimmering Art Deco palace could break the budget. In the spring of 2004, on a trip to Egypt, they found what looked like the ideal solution. Essam has been designing and building hotels in Cairo for many years, although his projects bear little resemblance to St Giles House.
We have a big dome, the biggest dome in Cairo, I think, in all the hotel in Cairo. And I make the work. I have my shop, I have my team who is making this work.
Essam, he's the owner of probably the premier construction company in Cairo. He has built things like the new Mirage City, and it's probably hundreds of millions kind of project.
I am classic. I like classic design. I like very much anything old, anything antique. It's the first hotel for me in England. It's a small hotel, and for me also it's a value to work in this building. I'm very sorry for my English, but I will learn English after that to be to be Englishman.
We got terribly lucky to be introduced to him. He's just taken to us and kind of decided to put us under his wing and help us.
Carlton and Lana learnt quickly that Essam was both accommodating and cheaper than other designers. He offered to waive his design fee for a chance to work on a prestigious English hotel. With costs growing fast, Essam's offer was too tempting to refuse.
Yes, I know.
And the tables are 3 times less expensive.
Yeah.
And the rest white, but without anything. In your case, it must be like this.
Okay.
Yeah,
We love him.
The deal was done, securing Essam £100,000 in advance to get the bistro up and running. Norwich in November is quite a culture shock for Essam when he comes on a site visit to meet up with Vince, the site manager.
Because
it's much white. I think it's white. Yes.
Much. The facade. Where is the drawings of the facade?
We haven't got a drawing for that at all. This initially was going to be in timber, but if you're going to be putting marble onto this, you would need to be concrete.
It must be concrete.
Mm.
And when you will remove this scaffolding? When?
Essam is worried that there's not a great deal happening on a build that is running badly behind schedule.
It takes a lot more time, the mere fact that you're having to work around what's there as opposed to what you put up, basically. Hence, most projects, there's always a great delay on refurbs.
It becomes clear that the long-suffering Vince has not been properly informed of Essam's plans for the bistro. Essam has his reputation as a troubleshooter to think of. He's not used to working in these conditions and with such a small workforce.
Anybody want his project to be as soon as possible finished, he comes to me. I can bring 300, 400 labor, not with insurance, not, you understand me? But it's more easy at our country.
Essam calls in Lana and Carlton to tell them he has serious doubts about their whole project, let alone their completion date of February 2005 for the bistro.
Sure. At your opinion, in this situation, when we will finish the hotel?
Are you saying whether or not it will finish on the date it's scheduled to finish, or are we talking about...
Impossible.
I have to believe that we have to finish it, because if I don't believe, then...
To believe. But if you don't believe that in this situation you will finish in 2 years...
I know.
2 years, I swear, 2 years, not 1 year. No. To finish, we must work everywhere in the same time.
Oh yeah, of course.
Terrace,
of course.
restaurant, toilets,
that's
plumbing, heating, electricity, masonry, plastering, everywhere in the same time.
The project is now hemorrhaging money, with running costs of £10,000 a week just to keep the builders on site. At this rate, Lana's dream hotel may never open.
When do you think the building will be finished?
I don't know.
Do you know when the building will be finished?
Very soon.
Being realistic?
Being realistic? Ooh. That's a builder's answer you want, her.
We were told, oh, you can have the top floor of this building 2 or 3 weeks to start decorating. That must be 3 months ago.
If
and it
not
hasn't
more.
happened.
So what do? Do we stick a hose in the car and hold our hands and say, thanks for having a lovely life? What do? You know?
Coming up, with the hotel project in jeopardy, Lana returns, cap in hand, to her Russian family. But the Dimitris are far from impressed with their site visit.
It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. Somebody else should be forgot us.
You know, we look at the our dwindling sum of money and we go, bugger.
This is like a mountryside.
All the owners, in all my life, the owner of the hotel, like this, he want to open because he want his money, because he spend the money and he want the money. He spend a lot of money and he needs his money. He want to open and he must open. But in this case, we never open at February. I'm sorry.
With delays costing £10,000 a week and Essam's stark warning still ringing in their ears, Lana and Carlton are having a nervous start to the new year.
We get very frightened. We get very frightened that every time we go and have a meeting about the building and oh, it's another week or it's another week or it's put back 2 weeks, we look at the our dwindling sum of money and we go, bugger.
But it is very scary indeed, because we're now down to the last £50,000 of our money.
And Lana and Carlton are not the only ones getting jumpy. The Moscow investors are demanding an urgent site visit.
Да, настолько понравилось.
The Russians are coming. Another £1 million of their money is needed to complete the bistro. But the Dimitris expect to see serious progress before they commit more cash. They visit separately, of course. Big Dima is the first to inspect, and his tour starts on a jolly note.
A shower! We've got a shower! Look! Look!
Not that many. I think that's probably as many as you can get in there.
Okay.
There will be plenty of that going on in this hotel, I'm sure, once it's up and running. Were you in here, Dimitri?
But the tour takes an unexpected turn for the worse when they move through to the Georgian building.
It's absolutely fucking ridiculous.
Lana's workforce have been rendering walls only painstakingly uncovered 2 days before. It is part of her design scheme that these walls should remain exposed.
Now they're going to have to take most of the fucking chimney breasts off, redo the whole thing. That's going to take another 4 days.
They shouldn't have been over into that building at all anyway. They're paid on piecework. So what happens is they go like fury, and if they're held up somewhere else, they'll just go and render anything. Just stick it on.
Somebody else should be for garters.
And things don't get any better on the next floor.
There is another window going there. So this has been rendered, which means that that all has to come out. There has to be a new hole made there for a window to go in. Dima is saying he wants to say something which probably will go bleep, bleep, bleep.
The right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing as far as the people that are running the show for Carlton and Lana, you know, when they're not here on site. It's not good. It's bang out of order.
Dima is standing here saying, well, who's controlling this site? Where is somebody that I can talk to now and ask why this has been done? And Dima, being an experienced building person, is saying this is like a monkey site. If I didn't have the amount of control that I have, I'd probably be running down the street screaming by now. For the last 6 months. No, scratch that, for the last 4.5 years. Anyway, пошли наверх.
Big Dima is far from impressed, and his decision is not to increase his investment. The future of St Giles House rests on a knife edge.
We have no savings, and we have invested everything into it, and everything. If something horrible happened, we'd be out on the street.
I have to have that money. And I'm very tired.
With time running out, everything rests on the visit of little Dima the following day. Lana and Carlton must pull out all the stops for a charm offensive.
You'll see that as you go around various sort of blotches of colour on the wall, which is Lana and I testing paints and colours. The glass panel that goes in there has a big sort of fan-shaped arrangement on it with the name of the restaurant. Which is my name. It's your name.
Yeah.
Right. Dimitri. Yeah, it's his restaurant, it says on the sign.
It's an uphill struggle to convince and reassure the wavering cousin.
This is a pass here.
And little Dima is giving nothing away. The future of Lana's dream hotel hangs by a thread.
We hope and we massage and we kick and we... Whatever we can do.
Yeah.
Has Lana weaved her magic once again?
Lana's just given me a call saying that she's spoken to Little Dima, as we call him. Well, he's not really little. Makes you think that he's a dwarf, but he's not. He's 6'2". It's just that Big Dima is so much bigger. And he's good for coughing up his share of the extra money that's needed at the moment, which is good. So we live to fight another day.
We hope that Norwich will say thank you very much, eventually.
Next time on Hell to Hotel, with the February deadline looming, it's another D-Day for Lana and Carlton. Just as the project shifts up a gear, there's a problem with the Egyptian marble.
We've been trying to get hold of Essam for the last 3 days and we can't...
Essam is nowhere to be found and work grinds to a halt.
The marble that has arrived does not fit the designs that Essam has given us. Yeah, they've got a picture for one jigsaw puzzle and the pieces belong to another.
Lana and Carlton must return to Cairo to confront Essam on his own doorstep.
Basically, Essam does what Essam wants.
What color of painting you would make the paint?
It's off-white.
Off-white?
Yeah. It's my vision, it's my restaurant, it's my hotel.
I cannot do it.
Don't tell me what I can put or what I cannot put. I can put fucking whatever I want.